What first date behavior is a deal breaker? Possessive behavior. If this is how you act with someone you've just met, how would a relationship with you be? They won't stop talking about their ex. Once, I was talking to this girl online, and things were going pretty well. So we decided to go for dinner. I showed up to the place 5 minutes early. So I waited. And kept waiting. Texted her 15 minutes after we were scheduled to meet. But didn't get a response. Waited for another 45 minutes then left. She messaged me later saying that she wasn't there because she lives in Indonesia. I live in New Jersey. Showing up late and not texting ahead of time. You're not playing it cool if you're 20 minutes late without saying anything. I think when they don't even ask you about yourself. Maybe that sounds weird. But I had a date that would be constantly talking about her life and friends and whatnot. I would ask her questions too, but she never once asked me about anything. Forgetting to take off your wedding ring. Taking me to a multi-level marketing seminar. Actually happened. I didn't know this until recently. Picking wax out of your ears and sprinkling it around. Don't. Just don't. Okay. What am I supposed to season my dinner with? Introducing me to your boyfriend. Texting their ex. Showed up late getting all done up, told via text, but was in a ratty hoodie. And her clothes smelled musty. Super shy. But barely spoke. Even when asked innocuous questions. Until the movie started. Then she wouldn't shut the FCK up. Kept staring at me. And asking the dumbest questions like how do you get so tall? Comma. Do you like movies? So. Yeah, that sounds like someone who popped something that took a little while to kick in. Damn. Making me do all the work. Conversation wise. I don't mind being the lead driver, but you need to at least pull your own weight. I've been on some dates that felt more like interviews. Immediately starting with the I love you attitude. Had a girl tell me she thought she loved me about halfway through our first date once. I brushed it off as flirty banter, then toward the end of our meal she says, "You know how I know you love me?" Smelly. Greasy hair. And no effort in appearance. If the first date isn't important enough for you to even shower. Starting the date by saying that you've cleared your entire weekend. Just in case this date works out and I'm free. No pressure. If he comes to pick you up and pees in your driveway before you'll leave. When we plan an actual date where we meet up somewhere. And at the last minute they bail. But. Wait. They're still free. All you have to do is go to their house. Bitch. No. So. Basically manipulation. If you manipulate me just once. I'm done. When I ask someone out on a date, especially a first date, I expect that I will pay for the date. If it's a restaurant, I don't make a big deal about me paying, and I don't care if she makes any offer to pay or not. But it is a deal breaker when I think she's assumed I will be paying and orders extra expensive stuff because she thinks it will be free to her. My buddy went on a date. And the woman ordered 2 entrees. So she could take one home for later. Brazen about it. Asking me to suck his dick before even having a real conversation. This actually happened. To this day. I still don't know how to say his name or where is he from. Edit. I didn't expect this. TBH, I don't mind having sex on the first date or even a one night stand. But I don't think the first 3 sentences should be, "Hi, how you doing, can you suck my dick?" If you have someone that will do that. Only for this amount of effort you put in. Good for you. But I rather go spend my night with friends. Or even watch Netflix alone. A guy where I worked was hitting on a girl on the lunch truck for over a month. She fillily said she would go out with him. So for the first date he took her to a XXXPRN show. Apparently she excused herself to go to the bathroom after a few minutes and never came back. I felt so sorry for her. I would have been scared out of my mind to be with someone that off. This wasn't a first date, as she had told me she just wanted to be friends after that. But we did one friend date after, and this basically killed it. Let's go to Chick-fil-A. Order something for herself and then asks me if I want anything. Yeah, I'll just have a shake. We get to window and she turns to me, I'm kinda broke and don't have that much on me, can you pay? I would be fine with it if she had just asked me before if I minded buying her something. But to phrase it like she was the one paying and then switching it up on me? I'm just being used. Edit. Why the FCK is my most upvoted comment the one where I look like a beta male? I mean I am. But still. To the server. Go to cancel that sandwich. It will be just the shake. Thanks. Finding out that the reason why they asked you out is because they wanted to make their ex jealous. To make it worse, she had her friend invite the ex-boyfriend as well. On my first date with a guy, he proceeded to tell me he'd had sex with 16 women and I could be lucky number 17. And then told me he generously rated me a 6/10. Solid move, dude. Solid move. Edit. OMG, I just remembered he also told me literally while we were still hanging out that he just FK'd some other girl earlier that day. Like, wow, is that supposed to be a good thing? Too handsy right out the gate. You're still basically a stranger. I need to get to know you first. Constantly being on your cell phone. Seriously. Man. That's so uncool. Once I told a guy he had something in his teeth and he flossed with his long hair. Improvise. Adapt. Overcome. Going on a dinner, or lunch. Breakfast. etc. Date and ordering nothing because you ate before you came or aren't hungry. It's incredibly awkward to be the person on the other side of that since you showed up hungry and now you're supposed to just eat in front of the other person. Like, that's not weird. This isn't necessarily a date, but we went out with a group of people one time and a few of them just berated the waitstaff for absolute nonsense. Nope. Not hanging out with you ever again. But sticking with that, I always try to notice how people treat waiters. Especially if a mistake is made. If you are cool about it. Apparently some women can have profoundly poor hygiene, and also apparently there are smells that I am unable to power through. I wouldn't even judge a little body odor if it was just that. I mean, she could be nervous or just forgot the deodorant or something if that were the case. But I'm talking a foul miasma that lingered in my car for a couple days. Somewhere between horse girl and smash player. She also didn't wear underwear because of it being too much of a hassle. Well, on one first date I had, the dude told me he used to be in a gang and killed 6 people. Drove us into oncoming traffic. Told me that there were 3 loaded guns in the car. This ride lasted at least 45 minutes there and back. And told me he was bipolar and was not taking any medication for it. Showing up absolutely hammered and passing out within an hour. Passing out in their own vomit. Assuming they are going to have sex with me before I've made it clear. McDonald's. Jesus. You might want to look at your screening process. Stealing my car. Showing up to the date late on cocaine. Broke. And hoping I'll buy them liquor. Then expecting I'll be cool hanging at her place with her and her boyfriend because he is pretty chill. That is how my last date went. Edit. Holy FCK, that blew up while I was sleeping. To TLDR, my area was under lockdown. So I'd been really lonely. I live by myself. I set up a socially distant coffee date downtown with a girl who seemed much nicer on the web. But IRL, she was really sketchy and clearly she had spent the lockdown doing all the drugs. It was a new low for me. Keeping talking about herself and the same subject. Evening. Went on a blind date once and this girl kept talking about a single trip she made 5 months prior and her damn bunny. It's all cute and stuff, but when I tried to say something about my pets or travel experience it would always go back to her. Also when I tried to steer the conversation away from anything but those 2 subjects she'd return after 4 minutes somehow. Big turn off. Rudeness to anyone. They're supposed to be on their best behavior at this time. So it's a major red flag if they're not trying to be. Telling me she has to be home by 10:00 because she has another date. Yep. It happened. Thanks, Alice. I went on a date once with a guy who seemed lovely, funny, interesting and charming. We had dinner and ordered a bottle of wine. About 45 minutes in, I went to pour my second small glass of the evening. He picked up my glass, downed it in one and said, "1 glass is enough for a woman. I need you sober for what I'm going to do to you later." There was not a second date. One-sided conversation. Myself driving the conversation constantly and them putting in zero effort or giving one-worded replies, always on their phone reeking of ciggies, drugs, talking about their ex all the time, making zero efforts to even be interested, being more than 30 minutes late without notifying me. If he's driving really fast on purpose. Once in the restaurant, obviously rude to waiter. And afterwards if he tries anything super sexual. I've had dude pull their dick outs. Literally. Being the only girl on the cross-country team for 3 years. Being sexually teased was just a thing. Due to having my biker father's no BS attitude. I got real good at automatically slapping any dick that came out hard. Only took a couple time per word to get out and the boys stopped that joke. I bet if someone pulled it out in front of me now and I wasn't wanting it, I'd still reflexively smack it hard enough to end the date in the air. Completely different beliefs and politics. I've had multiple guys bring me a Bible and segue into asking me to dinner to teach me about the Lord. Talking about their junk. You'd be surprised how many seemingly normal men do this. Lacking respect for servers and other working people. Trying to force me to kiss you by grabbing my face so hard that it leaves thumb-shaped bruises on my jawline. For 2 weeks. Literally kissing me with an unhinged jaw and being all tongue. See? Harry Potter basilisk trying to eat you. Taking me to a secluded spot and whipping your dick out to play with it just BC I had kissed you a few times. Then. Not stopping when I wanted to leave. Serious lack of self-control there. Telling me I could be hot if I tried working out a little bit because I had the makings for a hot body. He wasn't even fit himself. Or your real name not being what you told me it was when we met and first chatted online. Eater. He changed it to sound hot BC. He thought his real name was why he wasn't getting matches dates. Making me listen to you loudly recite poetry as if it were open mic night in a brightly lit bubble tea cafe. Political religious debates. Even if I agree with your views. Just know. Edit. I'll update these as I think of more. Any comment that suggests they're insecure about themselves, i.e. a criticism of something that's clearly projection. I bet you got your job by batting your eyelashes. I've been trying to get into X job for ages and it's too hard or anything that tries to or succeeds in making me second guess myself, my instincts. I once asked her, first date, to leave and let me eat in peace because he started lecturing me on not eating a burger if I wanted to look like my skinny like a 12-year-old boy sister. Crossing a simple boundary I placed. Had a first date where a guy held my hand while I was driving and I said I'm not really much of a hand holder and put my hand back on the wheel. He took my hand back and said thank you for your sacrifice. This dance went on for the rest of the date. This guy also lifted his sweatshirt to reveal a t-shirt that had Jesus on it which said I never said that and asked what I thought of his shirt. Felt like a weird test. Ordering your food to go and quietly watching me eat while you wait to leave. Talking about all the conspiracy theories they believe in. No. Chaz. It isn't a commonly held belief that all of the US presidents descended from the same bloodline. Edit. For all the people arguing that this was fun trivia, Broski actually believed that all the presidents were in league together to ensure that the presidential bloodline stayed pure. This wasn't a case of spicy conversation and wasn't the only conspiracy theory. I promise you. Having it be only about them irks me. They'll answer your questions with long stories about themselves and rarely ask anything in return. If they do, you'll get about one sentence in and they'll interrupt you with another one of their stories. They somehow always feel like the date went great and they had a great time. And are surprised you are not equally as excited. Semicolon. Also, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I hate overly sappy romantic gestures. Like insisting on holding your hands over the table whilst looking into your eyes for extended periods of time. When you try and get your hands back, talk about something else or break eye contact, they get offended and just try again, grabbing at your hands and pulling you back. As if he's trying to hypnotize you and you're not cooperating. For me, it has to be being rude to servers hostesses. I had to apologize once while a date went to the bathroom. I was mortified and appalled with that behavior. Servers aren't my slaves and they certainly aren't below me. Talking about an ex. Or only talking about themselves and not expressing any interest in me. Sometimes I think guys think a date is a time to brag about how smart you are or how great you are. Just be relaxed. When in doubt, ask her about herself. And be a good listener. Hopefully she will do the same. Not a very big deal. But I pay a lot of attention to this one. Most common topic on first dates is hobbies, interests and tastes. Many dates will quickly backpedal and change their mind if I disagree on something. It can be about music, food, a place, etc. If you said that you liked it, then don't change your mind after I say that I don't. Shows insecurity and it comes off as disingenuous. We are allowed to be different. Rudeness, patronizing behavior, arrogance, narcissism. Skipping past the get to know you conversations and going straight to get in your pants suggestions. I hate that. I am more than my ass. Thank you very much. Showing you a pic he took from a crime scene he had responded to. Firefighter. Not only are you not supposed to take pictures for personal use, it's not exactly something you want to see over appetizers. Not the same guy, but getting arrested after running a red light on the way to the restaurant. With me in the car. Open warrants are a bitch. Criticism is a big no for me on a first date. I can take criticism, it's just that first dates should be about getting to know someone, not judging them. I say this because my ex was very critical of everything I would do, whether it be the kind of music I listened to or that I wore a hat most of the time, and she didn't like it. Please don't bring your dad with you. Made plans to see a movie with this girl a while back. Apparently when she told her dad she was going to the movies, he decided he was going with her. She asked if I still wanted to go. No. I do not want to go on a date with you and your father. Gru's first date and Despicable Me 2. The woman made suggestions about his accent under the pretense that it was all for his good. Rude and inconsiderate. Correcting people on your first date? Def dealbreaker. Being petty about the $5 you spent on me even though I didn't ask you to. I picked this girl up I had been talking to for a few weeks that I matched with on Tinder. She was actually great. A lot of nights voice chatting and laughing. So we finally set a date. I pick her up. We go to the restaurant. We get to the restaurant. She tells me she popped LSD before I picked her up. General assault and murder and stuff. Frowned upon. Berating a worker for a mistake at your restaurant bar date spot. You can FCK right off with that attitude. If they spend the whole time looking bored and disinterested, at least pretend you're having fun. Or tell me you want to go home. Don't make me sit here uncomfortably for 2 hours and give me one-word answers constantly. Blatant racism. One guy I went on a blind date with made disparaging remarks about black teenagers being the scourge of this country. He was a high school English teacher in an inner city school. So I was quite surprised. How the Indian people in his apartment building stunk up the place, etc. I pointed out to him that he was on a date with me, an Asian woman, and seemed to have no problem with that. And he said yeah. But Asian people are a good minority. Also, if a guy asks, so, what kind of Asian are you? Pooping on the street. Being rude to a waitress, cab driver, homeless person, their roommate, whoever. Don't be rude. My best friend was out walking around town with a girl. First date. Suddenly, he had to sh-tea. He struggled to make it to the movie theater down the street. As he approached, he was waddling from clenching his cheeks so hard. He stepped up onto the curb from the street and his finger relaxed just long enough for a bit of sh-tea to come out. Him, being him, figured that since he just sh-tea his pants, he may as well sh-tea his pants. He went full flow. Straight up filled his pants then and there. He walked into the movie theater bathroom, took his underwear off, threw it out, wiped his ass and surrounding areas the best he could, and left. Date over. No second date. My man just straight up sh-tea his pants on the first date. Bet he still thinks about that one when he's trying to fall asleep.